hate it when anyone knocks on my front door. I hate it. I don't care what I'm doing, even if that answer is nothing, which chances are it is. I don't care who it is or what it's about, with two possible exceptions. I'm fine with packages arriving, and I love when the mail comes. I wish the mail came like 3 more times per day. Other than that, there is no cause for which I want you to knock on my front door. Not for the environment, not for the children, not for the schools, not to elect Obama, not to buy magazines or candy, not for gay marriage or straight marriage, not to buy a house or sell my house, not to vote on restricted parking, not to tell me they're shooting a movie in my neighborhood so there's going to be restricted parking, and certainly not to tell me about your God. I mean, how great can your God be? He's got you going door to door. Not only do I hate this because it's an interruption, it makes me realize the degree to which I don't trust anyone anymore. I answer my door, and even if it's a sweet little old lady, I spend the entire doorway conversation thinking, your partners are around back breaking into my house, aren't they? Honestly, you could knock on my door holding a baby that's on fire, and all you're asking for is water to put out the burning baby, and I would stand there the whole time thinking, what's your angle here? What are you up to? I have somehow become a very old man in this respect. And if you don't give me some documentation, some credentials, something, I will never, ever give you money out my front door for any cause on this or any planet. There is a way that this works, and the way that this works is this. You leave me a flyer or a brochure or a pamphlet or tract. And if I care, which it's not looking good, but if I care, I will, at a time convenient for me, go online, determine the legitimacy of you and your organization, and decide whether or not to give. And I do give to charities. I do. Because I am a good person. To be clear, I'm a good person, not a great person. Good in the sense that I give to charities. Not great in the sense that when I see a homeless person asking for money, part of me still thinks, yeah, no. And I am really not great in the sense that when I see a homeless person with a dog, every fiber of my being thinks, dear God, we gotta help that dog. I realize that is not a laudable quality of mine. For the record, that I hate when people knock on my front door is not born of guilt either. I'm not afraid to answer the door for fear of what is on the other side. I have nothing like that in my life. I'm not waiting for the police to come calling, and I have no baby mamas. And unlike some of my friends, I do not anticipate a visit from the bill collector. I can tell that some of my friends have outstanding credit card debt and/or overdue student loans by the way they answer their phone. If you ever call them from an unknown number or one they don't recognize, they answer really trepidatiously and cagily, in a voice somehow different from their own, like, hello? Presumably so that when and if the person on the other end says, this is Gordon from Capital One, may I please speak to Tara? They can go, she's not available right now? May I tell her in what regard this is pertaining? That is not what it is with me. It is simply a very personal interruption. Your knocking on my front door feels like you're knocking on the bathroom door when I'm inside and busy. I don't want you to see what I'm wearing or watching or eating, and it's almost always a waste of time. A couple of years ago, an unkempt fellow who clearly did not work for the city of Los Angeles knocked on my front door around dusk. He said, hey, we're painting house numbers on the curbs and reflective paint so that ambulances and like pizza guys can find your house. We left a flyer last week. It's $15. And I said, no, thank you. And he kind of grimaced and said, oh, dude, I already did it. And I said, and he said, could I maybe just get a beer instead? I told him I didn't have any beer, which I'm certain was a lie. I often fake being on the phone when I answer the door, and I'm good at it. I can maintain one half of a non-existent conversation really well. I suppose because I get so much practice in the car. Whenever another driver at a stoplight catches me running lines or rocking out, I will very frequently pick up my cell phone as if it were on speaker and animatedly say, yes, that's what I've been I know. I did that one time at my front door, answered as if on the phone, and the kid said, I'll wait. And I said, no, you won't. And he said, can I come back later? And I said, later tonight? No, it's 6:30. No, this old man needs supper and his stories. One other exception to my disdain for door knocking is just around the corner, Halloween. And though I really like it when my neighborhood kids come trick-or-treating, I think that my attitude from the rest of the year must somehow be felt and remembered, because almost no one in my neighborhood brings their kids to our house. Sorry adults from other neighborhoods come, people way too old to be in costume and trick-or-treating. We live in Venice and the houses are really close together. I think they come because it's high-density candy grabbing. Our houses are really close together. I can hear my neighbor having sex with his new girlfriend. That is, I can hear my neighbor's new girlfriend having sex done to her. She's loud, and it sounds amazing. It sounds like the movies. That is, it sounds amazing for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then after that it becomes silly. It's a little better now that it's cooled off in the last few weeks, and we're both keeping our windows closed a little bit more. It's better, but you can still hear. My neighbor's girlfriend is really loud, and my wife insists she's faking it. She's faking it. If so, she's faking it for what seems like a really long time. Either way, the lady's got stamina and pipes. Perhaps the best part of this, though, is that all the brouhaha somehow happens at a frequency that my wife cannot hear. So Beth and I will be in the middle of a conversation in our living room or dining room, and all of a sudden you'll hear it. Ecstatic gasps, visceral groans, and ohs and oh gods. I'll hear it, and Beth will not, which puts me in a really weird position. Like, we'll be talking and I'll be actively listening, because that's how I roll. And I'll be saying, oh, And Beth will say, what's up? Where did you just go? And I'll go, oh, no, nothing, nowhere. That's what I do most of the time. I lie about it. I learned that is the better way to handle it. Because the first time or two that happened, she said, well, what was that noise? What did you hear? And I said, I can hear Steve fucking his girlfriend. She looked at me as if to say, like, you're gross. You are gross for hearing that. So now I just suffer in silence. Not suffer so much. Giggle, I guess. And I'm not going to do anything about it. I don't think you can say to anyone, could you please keep it down with the amazing sounding sex you're having? Moreover, while super cool, my next door neighbor is a cage fighter. He's a champion mixed martial artist. I'm not gonna knock on his door.